Hi everyone!
Hi guys!
It's Sunday for us, but it's actually Saturday for you guys.
Yeah.
It's pre-Valentine's.
Yeah, so what will be the date next weekend?
Like the 12th. That's a lie. Valentine's Day is on a Wednesday, so probably like the 10th.
Interesting. Well, happy early Valentine's.
And Galentine's and Palentine's and Pancake Day. Because the 13th is Pancake Day.
I told Liz so many times that Valentine's Day Eve was Pancake Day. And she, like when you tell someone something and they don't react, and then like 2 days later Liz was like, yeah, of course, because Shrove Tuesday is the day before.
Yeah, because I don't consider Pancake Day and Shrove Tuesday to be the same thing. And then when you put the fact that Lent begins on Valentine's Day, none of those things should add up. Which is why I was like, God, Easter's in March.
Why is Easter in March?
Because Lent begins.
But why is Lent beginning so early?
Because Shrove is on the Tuesday.
But why?
I don't know. But that means because April is Easter.
Yeah.
April is for Easter. March is not for Easter. I'm not
religious,
religious,
I don't feel like I have a
like
spring birthday. Like, I don't really feel like I have like an Eastery spring birthday. I feel like you do.
You're a spring
You
chicken.
kind of give summer birthday because you're on like the cusp of like warm weather normally.
I consider myself spring birthday.
Yeah.
Well, my mum called us both spring chickens, which
You're
prompted.
Like, you're a spring chicken too.
It prompted a playlist called Spring Chicken Birthday Bash, and now like we are. I don't think I have a warped thing of what spring is, but to me, spring is March, April, May.
Is it not?
I don't know.
So I've had snow on my birthday before.
Snow on the beach.
Which is why I feel like I don't identify with the spring birthday.
But then, like, if you want to say spring is like cute, like the animals are being born, like the sun's out and stuff. April showers. Those two things don't, like Easter and April showers don't compete.
April showers don't really exist anymore, do they?
Not with global warming.
No.
Well, it's sunny outside now. It's February. We had about 10 minutes of snow all year. And in America, that groundhog didn't see his own shadow, so spring's coming early.
What do you mean groundhog didn't see its own shadow? What does that mean?
You know how it's Groundhog Day?
Yeah.
On Friday.
What does that mean?
Oh, it's just gone. The day that keeps repeating.
Oh, is that actually what it means?
I'm not sure. So I had a Snapchat, we'll introduce ourselves in a minute, but I had a Snapchat memory from a year ago of a groundhog, and I'd put on it, I was at home weirdly enough, and I was recording the news, and I was like, I didn't know Groundhog Day had an actual groundhog. And then it gets like pulled out of the ground and like lifted up into the air.
As in like...
And like a little cute little thing.
Animal?
Yeah. And then, so they did it this year, and then I saw this thing on the news and it was like, he didn't see his own shadow, spring's coming early, and everyone was like,
what does that mean?
It's like, you know, the predictions.
Yeah.
You know, like, some things can predict.
But like, why would he see his own shadow?
I don't know, but then I also found out that like 67% of the time he's wrong.
What, the groundhog's wrong?
Yeah, so I'm like, is he really...
How was he wrong? What was he...
Well, because maybe spring wouldn't come earlier if he's predicted other
he's
things.
predicting...
Spring's coming early. But like, okay, we'll get a different one. Or like, you're not a reliable source, like take it with a pinch of salt if he's wrong most of the time.
You need to pick up multiple groundhogs and see if it's like cohesive.
Yeah, because then I saw a tweet and it was being like, that groundhog's mainly wrong, and there was this other animal that's only been wrong once in history, this whole time it's been alive. So it's like, why would you not ask him? Or her, like, you know... What's going on? Ask them when spring's coming, and they'll probably tell you a good answer. So I'm Eliz.
I thought spring was lined up with the clocks.
Well, like British summertime, but America doesn't have the clocks going back and forward, do they?
I'm Lilyemma.
Welcome back to Blonde Vibrations. That was almost a platinum mixtape-esque start to things.
Yeah. Welcome to Champagne Whispers, episode 16.
This is it.
16.
Yeah, it is. It kind of feels like a follow on from the last Champagne Whispers, because we started to talk about like relationship dilemmas, love dilemmas, and this is like, it was perfect timing with Valentine's, because now we're at Valentine's week. We're walking.
It's actually also overspill, because one of these we intended to speak up last episode, but we ran out of time. So.
We're trying very hard to reel it in because we talk a lot. So, and I know a lot of you do think, well, not do think it's too long, but like you seem to digest like a 45 to 50 minutes easier.
Yeah, like no one needs to listen to us for an hour and a half. Matter of fact.
Having said that, we probably did just speak about groundhogs for about 4 minutes. My bad, 6 minutes.
Groundhogs, that's crazy.
So happy Groundhog
What a way
Day.
to start Valentine's week, eh? Groundhogs.
And I've not even seen the film.
I don't even know what groundhogs look like, other than like your description just then.
I'll show you. We have time. What's the last thing I searched? Oh, Renee Rapp. Tickets. Groundhog. Oh, well, just Groundhog. We need to put Groundhog Day. Oh, no, look, it's cute. Oh, wait.
It's like a beaver.
Groundhog 2024. University of Dallas. Why, though? Okay. This is it. They got taken out of the... I don't know how to say that name. Punxsutawney Phil was the name of him. I don't know if you guys can see this, but like, you can't. But that's him being taken out of the ground, I suppose. I'm not making it up. Google Images just backed me. Anyway.
No, okay, you're crazy.
Yeah, like why? Why you gotta do that?
Spring's coming out, y'all.
I think you had it to y'all.
Ready to swim, coach.
There was another one, I can't remember what.
I can't remember.
Anyway, so we have a couple more of your love dilemmas. But this one, we'll start with number 1. This is the, like, pre-love. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is like the stages before relationship.
Pre-love.
Like pre-med, like pre-law, pre-love. This is, I fell in love with my best friend, but we both agreed to not ruin the friendship. What do I do?
No one take that out of context, I beg.
We would just like to say, this is not our situation. It's not our dilemma. I'm not in love with you.
Thank you.
What would you actually
Ditto.
do? Oh, what would you do if I was like, okay, keeping it real, just getting your like on-air reaction, I'm in love with you. So whatever advice you're about to give, that's to me. Would that change your advice?
Yeah, it'd be like, don't bother.
Cut the cameras.
Stop.
Or like, what if
like, stop while you're ahead.
Or what if it was actually one of your male friends had sent it in about you? Just know that like whatever you're saying is directly impacting the situation.
Yeah, but that changes things because you know you're not interested in the person, whereas we're kind of like a unbiased third party here.
But what if even hearing that would change your like opinion? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If someone that you thought you'd never even have the chance with, and then they turn around and was like, but I do love you, but you were friends, would it change things?
I don't like it when we apply the scenarios to us personally.
so we're just putting it back out there again.
Yeah.
This is not about us.
No, it's actually not about anyone we know. So, like, it actually isn't any of my friends. Like, all my friends watching that.
It's about you. Okay. What were your like first thoughts?
I said, I feel like at first it seems like a really niche situation, but on closer look, I think this happens to more people than we think. And then I also said, without sounding like I'm in love with you, when you're in a like close friendship with someone, you do form a deep emotional connection. So it's likely for romantic feelings to get involved.
See now, like after we just had that conversation,
So you made it weird.
You made it weird. You did that. You said those things. So I guess, okay, step 1, figuring out if it is romantic feelings you think towards the person.
Yeah.
Or if it's like mistaking it for like a companionship.
Yeah.
Potentially. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for translating. like for those at home.
For those not following along. I said that like just by the like the sounds of like the wording, if you're saying like you've agreed to not ruin the friendship, why have you even said that? Do you not think that you should stop for a second and think, why have you both agreed as people?
Yeah.
You know, if like, because, okay, we'll bring it back to us. We have never once said to each other, like, whatever happens, we're not ruining the friendship. Because does that not already suggest that there's something on, like, another level? Like, there is something romantic there, unexplored, explored, like, whatever, like, in some way, that is already beyond a friendship.
Yeah.
You know deep down, right? Right?
Yeah, I also was thinking about the phrasing, and I said that if you both agreed to not explore it, maybe the other person, it sounds so harsh, but just doesn't feel the same way.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if you've sat down and had that conversation and been like, I think I like you, and that person's like, oh, I don't think we should ruin the friendship, that to me feels like a softened blow of a rejection.
Yeah, or like
there's no like...
Or if it's a situation where, like, you've gone out for drinks, you've sat down, and it's a bit like, you know, it's early on in the friendship, you don't know if it's a date or if it's whatever, and they're like, so I'm really glad we're friends. I wouldn't want anything to come between us or anything. Like,
yeah.
Oh, I didn't even think of it like that.
Like that it's very easy to read it as that's unrequited, which I know is, like, not what you want to think it is. However, is that what it is?
Oh, no. Because
like, how often does someone say, oh, yeah, well, we should just be friends and not...
Yeah.
Like, in what scenario do you both have feelings and both decide not to explore that?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe there is, but I just can't imagine a case where that is true.
Oh, yeah, because it's so, like, oh, hold your horses before you think this is going anywhere. It's not. So you need to manage your own expectations. However, I said, it is a difficult one. Because in this, like, you know, the game we call life or whatever, like, a good friendship is really amazing. But then in theory, if you can get that friendship and also turn it into your potential life partner, that is low-key what everyone does want. Not that everyone falls in love with their best friend, but everyone wants their best friend in their partner. Yeah. And vice versa.
That's like a fast track way to get it.
Yeah.
Is to just
date your friend. But, and this is my, like, before delving deeper, but if you lose the love, you're also losing the friend at the same time. Like, it is really difficult because it's almost like double the risk. And we've spoken before about, like, oh, your friends are the ones that you go to, but if that person is the love and the friend, who do you go to after? Like, it's difficult. Yeah.
I think it also changes on scenario, because is it like you've gone for drinks and you've, like, drunkenly kissed, or is it like a Love Rosie situation where, like, there's always been this underlying thing, everyone around you's thinking it but you've not thought it? Because I think that's two very different scenarios. I think to not ruin the friendship for a momentary, like,
fling,
or like slight spark, again going back to, like, are you just confusing it with other emotions, and your wires are just getting a bit crossed because you're in close quarters? And again, going back to when you're close friends with someone, it's very easy to kind of
it's like
get wires mixed
iCarly.
up. Yeah.
Like, not to spoil iCarly, but then, so what happened? Carly did she get hit by a car or something happened? She was in hospital and Freddie looked after her. I feel like this happens a lot in Disney shows. Freddie looked after her, and then Carly was like, I think I have feelings for you. And it's only after, like, she recovered from whatever the situation was, and she was a bit like, oh, you were, like, looking after me, you were being a good friend. My mistake. I mean, they actually end up together, right?
Do they?
Well, okay, so he gets with Sam Puckett, and I don't know if they end the show together, but there's the reboot, isn't there?
Yeah.
Freddie has an adoptive child, and I think his partner, forgive me if I'm wrong, died or left or something. And then, I don't know what happens with Carly, but I have a feeling it got cancelled. They were getting married at the very end, and at the wedding, like, it's about to cut off. She was like, Mom, because her mum was never in the show, never in the picture, and it's left on this, like, huge cliffhanger, and then it got cancelled. But I think they ended up together. I think. So, see, this is even confusing me, because you can like someone in, like, an innocent way, and then you think, oh, No, I know, it's just the circumstances. But then you could be destined to be together. I think I'm as confused as you are, person at home. Like,
yeah, you just confused me.
because like in that moment, if you're young and
But
you're
I think
like,
that's two different scenarios. That I think just because it's the same people,
it's
A,
so
it's
real.
two different shows,
That's true.
probably with like two different writers most likely, and B, that's like childhood confused feelings, and then like an adult,
Fully fledged, like,
yeah.
develop.
Like I think that's two different scenarios there. I don't think that's like without sounding like pessimistic, that's not like destined to be together. Like if
You
it's meant to be,
might-
that purely is just you've just crossed paths again and it's worked that time, but it didn't the first time.
I think we also have to consider, if you're saying like the context and the circumstances, like if you are, I've never had like a childhood boy best friend, you know, like the kissing booth type, or like
Yeah.
Summer I Turned Pretty. I've never experienced that myself, of like this boy that's just always been around, particularly. But like that must be so different as well than just meeting someone. You're both like meeting someone at this age and be like, oh, I think we're friends, but maybe there could be more. Like if you are like
There's so
actually
much
linked,
history there, almost like your family.
yeah, then it's really difficult in this, like, do we take it to that like next place, because you have to consider not only yourself, but like your parents are friends and like the siblings, and you're friends with his sister, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like that's a lot more, like you would have to tread lightly. But if it's just this like person that you've been around for a few months, but it was in the friendship group, you met in freshers, you've just always kind of been around, but it's like, oh, I kind of just want to kiss them, like this
Yeah.
bit less risk.
Yeah, I agree. I think it also depends on the style of friendship, because it's like if you spend all day every day together and then you start dating, are you then spending all day together but romantically, or are you like, I don't know, like do you have to go back to square one and start dating and kind of cutting? Like I think a safe way maybe to do it would be to end the friendship and then pursue this romantic thing as if it's something new, rather than kind of having these like wires crossed where you're then gonna have to almost like reset new boundaries and things like that. Because I don't know, I think if you do it that way round and it doesn't work out, it might be easy to salvage the friendship, whereas if it all becomes like intertwined, when that hits the fan, then
Double the mess.
yeah, that's two lots of like relationships, romantic and like platonic, that are exploding because it's all intertwined.
Now, I am going to bring up another TV show in that situation. And this is a Gossip Girl spoiler. It's like a real one. And I even apologise to the editor. Like, if you haven't seen it, feel free to just not edit this bit. Because I'll just say my point and it will stand strong. I believe that. No, I can't. Vanessa and Dan, childhood friends. They were so friends. They got together, and then things started to, you know, intertwine of like, where does girlfriend Vanessa and friend Vanessa like end and begin? And they ended up getting into these arguments because they were even on the same path, because they were doing the same subject and stuff, which again is a whole other like difficulty. But he was going, I'm talking to you as my friend Vanessa. I'm not talking to you as my girlfriend Vanessa. Don't give me like a different route or don't treat me differently because I just need my friend. I don't want this like, oh, you can do it, babe, like whatever. Like I need my friend who's like always giving me constructive criticism, who's always done this and that. Don't feel like you can't hurt my feelings because we're now in a relationship. So it's going to be difficult if you rely on each other in a friendship way.
Yeah, because like, as much as people say, oh yeah, well, your partner should be your best friend, they are different for a reason. Like, realistically, it won't be the same person, because that's not, like, you have different relationships for different reasons, and that's one of the reasons.
Yeah.
Like,
you want different things out of different types of relationships.
And I don't think that's like taboo or like wrong to say, but I think it's normal to want certain things from a romantic partner and certain things from like a platonic partner.
Well, it's like it does make sense. Like, there's like the basics of like defining the difference between things, If you just muddled them all together, then it's going to be confusing what you want out of things.
Yeah.
I also said, and this is, okay, I've kind of taken us to a place now where you've told the friend, or like I'm thinking of telling the friend, I think they might like me back. I don't know. Is this naive to say that can you somewhat agree that whatever happens, you will try and salvage this friendship? Because if you're like, I care about you so much, I would like to explore it, but at the end of the day, if the relationship goes up in flames, we have that time out for a little bit. I'd still like to keep you in my life. And I don't mean in terms of like cheating, lies, or a bad person, because one would think if they are capable of that to you, you don't want them in their life, full stop.
Yeah.
So then really, like, what's the difference between the friendship going down the drain as well? Like, if they've cheated on you, why do you need to strip away the romance but keep the friendship? Do you know what I mean? But if it's just like, we're actually really incompatible, or like, we started seeing each other and now it's actually like, we only saw each other once every few weeks as friends because that's all we could fit in.
Yeah.
Now we're forcing this like 4 times a week when it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So maybe we just take it back to like basics and like how it was. Can you do that? It's probably easier said than done.
Do you think you can be friends with someone after you've had a romantic relationship?
That might be a whole other question, which I would like to explore.
Like surface level?
Surface level, yes, if no harm, no foul. If it was like a timing thing, or like, you know, we just were like, oh, it's not really like meshing that. Not, you know, they end up being a horrible person to you. I don't think I would be like, just for the sake of like, yeah, keep the friendship. I would be like, it's fine, we just won't like kiss anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It depends. Could you?
I don't know. It depends on like, the scenario. I think it'd be really hard to be friends with someone that you have like strong feelings for. Like, I think that's also difficult.
Yeah. I would like to talk about this more. Like, that's a good question. Yeah, we'll put a pin in it, but like, I don't know. It just depends how you want to. Let us know what you think about that. Like, if you tell us your thoughts, then we can build on it.
Maybe this can be like we can go back to some like collaborative stuff and get everyone interacting, because I feel like that's like
how do you move on past that?
Yeah, I think also like being friends with someone that you have feelings for, and being friends with someone who you were like have feelings for you, and they were like, oh. Like, that's also 2 very different scenarios.
Yeah, okay, we'll pick that up at another point. I also said, and this is a big pro, tell them how you feel, because life is too short, and you don't want the, like, what ifs of unexplored options for a life of yearning and wondering. It's not a life well lived. Facts. Like, you're maintaining a friendship when, what if that's your twin flame or your soulmate? For what? Like, what are you maintaining the friendship for when you know that potentially in like a few years that's someone else that can provide you a whole other level of happiness and comfort? Yeah, you're putting all of those things off for the chance of failure. Like, that is a loser mindset. If you're going into it being like, they're gonna mug me off,
it's gonna end up in like heartbreak.
Yeah, like, if you're going into it negatively, it's going to. And, like, yes, there's probably the things of, like, what if they don't like me back? Or, like, what if it goes wrong? It's always nice to have that realistic, like, comfort level of things might not work the way I want. But if you're being, like, it won't. Like, it's not going to. Why bother then?
Yeah,
like, why bother?
In the same vein, I feel like if you really like a person and you stop yourself from pursuing that will eventually hurt you.
It'll ruin the friendship one way or another.
Yeah, because, so say you've had this conversation, you've both decided, like, you've both said, yeah, I like you. It's not one of those horrible rejection scenarios we made up. You were both like, yeah, we both like each other, but we're in the same friendship group. This would be awkward. I don't think it's worth it right now. You're both single, which means the other person can meet other people, and you're just going to have to sit there, you're going to have to watch it. I would assume your friends don't know about it, so then you can't
confide
address,
in people.
like, that will eventually end up exploding anyway. And also, the likelihood is that if you've already had the conversation, damage has already been done to the friendship.
Yeah, there's that like little wedge now where it's like, I love you, I love you.
Yeah, even in the case of like, you could.
I told you I do.
Even in the case of like, are you then gonna see things as weird that you would normally do? You know if like someone, you always have them round and you always share a bed and then they were like, oh, I'm actually in love with you.
You'd be a bit like,
oh, I don't actually want you staying in my bed, like I don't want to be giving you like mixed signals, or like I don't want to hang out one-on-one because is it going to seem like it's a date because I know you like me? And like, I think at the point in which you had the conversation, the most of the damage is done. The last bit of damage to be had would be it ending badly. But if you're both on the same page of being like, no matter what happens, as long as you treat each other with respect,
treat people with kindness,
communication, like loyal. But if it doesn't work out,
open communication.
you stop it.
Yeah, because that's if you have the conversation. If you choose not to, it can be a very similar path of self-destruction, because that's now you had your chance, you were going to say it, and then you were like, love being friends with you, bestie, and they're like, okay, cool, bestie, and then they're talking to you about people that they're matching, or they're like, I might go on a date with this person, and you're thinking like, I should be that person, but I've missed my chance, because you can always say it, but if you're like, I can't, like, no, not me, I won't say that, then they might meet someone else and they might be happy, and they're entitled to it, and they're entitled to tell you as the friend everything about it,
because they're not to know any better, like they're not doing anything wrong because they don't know. You can't. Yeah, like,
it's not disrespectful to if you were secretly in love with me, but I didn't know, and I was like, oh, God, I'm waiting for a text back from this guy. Like, why won't he text me? You're thinking like, I'll text you back. Yeah, like I would be calling. I'd be on FaceTime with you. I'm right in front of you. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like, I'm not in the wrong for being like, why is this person not texting me, or being like, I really like this person. It's also subconsciously, I'm not saying you're going to do it in a bad way, you might, if I was then upset about this person, you might give some really poor advice. You might be like, bin them off, when they might actually be really nice to you, there might be other circumstances, but if you're like, they're not good enough for you, then there might end up being this weird like, why do you think no one's good enough for me? And although in my head I'm now thinking like, I get into an argument and then kiss or be like, no one is good enough for you because I'm right here, and then kiss, like, maybe, I don't know. That might be the TikTok edit, watch it in me.
I feel like you've just like run with that narrative a little bit.
It's I was about to say WhatsApp. Wattpad, But like in most scenarios, you'll just have to like sit by and watch, and you'll be listening to When I Was Your Man by Bruno Mars. Like,
When She Loved Me.
Whereas like she'll be out here like, I can buy myself flowers. And it's like, it's not going to be good, is it? And then you're just going to be sad.
Talking to the moon.
Exactly. Is she 24 karat magic in the air?
That just unlocked a really weird side of us.
We watch a lot of Bruno Mars things.
I feel like there's nothing worse than having to just sit and watch someone else live their life and be happy when you know that like and like you could probably do better because you feel like you're better suited. It's
a very like bold thought to have that about someone. You know, when you think back, you're like, you can't actually reach full capacity happiness because I'm here. Like, you have to think pretty highly of yourself to think that, and I do respect it.
And
like,
you must have quite strong feelings.
What do you know? Like, sure, like, are you perfect as a person that they can't possibly succeed without you there? Like, damn, like, if you really do think that, like, if you have your confidence in that respect, like, how do you not have the confidence to just be like, I love you. I love you. I love you. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I said, okay. It will be difficult to recover, but these are my, like, quick fire little thoughts. I put high risk, high reward because you're risking it all, you're putting the friendship on the line. But if that does end up being like the person you marry, the person you have kids with, adopt kids with, you know what I mean? Like, perfect. Like, you've just got what you wanted from the
Yeah.
situation. No harm, no foul. And I did say, are you their type? Actually, you might like them. Are they actually someone that would you date?
Yeah.
Because I said, do other people think you look good together? Because, you know, if it's some people pull you aside and they're like, you describe each other's type, it's the same, like...
Yeah, like, you really should do something about that.
Yeah, like, you guys are perfect for each other. Or, like, are you looking at this person, you know that... Not to say you can't be an exception to a rule, that's great. But if their type is so one type of way, and they actually have reasons for it, it's not just like, I like this type of looks, they have to be brunette and whatever. If it's like, I value this, or like these things, if you don't have them, it might be a little bit harder to like bring those two things together.
Yeah.
But I don't know how strong of an argument that is, because you are friends, so to a level...
So you're somewhat compatible.
Yeah, because like, except for the romance side of things, like you value this a lot of the same things in like a friendship to a relationship.
Yeah.
I also said I don't condone alcohol, but and
you don't condone alcohol.
Like in this situation, like to feel like you have to do something, I don't condone it.
Alcohol reliance.
Yeah, or like I understand Dutch courage, but if you physically can't say it without alcohol, like take a step back, and also be of age. But can you, like, if it's like a drunk situation, like, you know, the drunk thoughts are so, drunk words are sober thoughts, like, can you say it drunk and see what is said? Or, like, on a night out, or in a very, like, stress-free environment, you have to, like, sit them down on a sofa like this and be like, hey,
so,
I have loved you since we were 18, type beat, like, but if it's
I didn't know you when you were 18.
That's fact. I knew you when you were 18, yeah? I've loved you since you were 18. But if we were on a night out, and you know, you're dancing, it's like good, like that F up the friendship songs are on and stuff, like, and then you could be like, have you ever thought about us getting together? You're very casual, you don't have to go with the like, I'm in love with you, but like,
has this ever crossed your mind?
Would you ever kiss me? And then if they're like, what? Be like, oh, I don't know, I was just thinking, I don't know, like, haha, why aren't you laughing? I was obviously not being serious. Like, I also said, can you play one of those We're Not Really Strangers games? Because that, although, yeah, you're going into it with a certain mindset and certain expectations, but it is a good way to, like, maybe, I've never played it myself.
No, neither.
So this could be,
so we actually have, like, no evidence to back this up, because I don't even know, like, what the experience is like playing it.
But you like get to know each other on a deeper level, and it's like kind of like intimate as a thing. Well, it's like what Chris did on Love Island, like, you know, you can fall in love with someone if you look into each other's eyes for 2 minutes straight, and then you could do it, and then you could look at me and be like, are you in love with me? Maybe like, I think I just fell in love with you in those 2 minutes. And if they're like, shut up, you'd be like, it was just a game, I was just trying the game out anyways, don't worry. Or you could just film it and be like, I didn't need 2 minutes. You just see
Elizabeth's in the room.
I got so much risk when it comes to other people, I tell you. I tell you I do. I also said, do you get the vibe that they seem jealous when you talk to someone else? I'm not saying get other people involved, but you know, like if you are a bit flirty with someone else, are you noticing that? If they're daggers at the back of you right now, like, or are they like, do they actively try and see you pursue other people?
Yeah, like, oh my god, you should meet my friend, you guys are well suited.
Yeah, because that's a little bit like, well,
are you trying to get rid of me?
Yeah, like, you obviously don't like me because you wouldn't try and put me with your friend, because otherwise that's awkward. If I liked someone, the last thing I would do is try and set them up with you, because
that's like a lose-lose in every aspect.
I would have to see them with you. There's then girl code that if things didn't work out, I couldn't easily go for it, even though I wanted them first.
Yeah.
And it's just awkward, and that would put me in pain every day. Like, I wouldn't do that.
I think there's a lot in, like, really taking time to reflect on your chances of telling the person that you like them. I think if you actually sit down and think about scenarios, and maybe ask a friend that knows the other person, because at the end of the day, if someone likes you, their body language, eye contact, etc. will show that. And I think it's easy to sit here and be like, it's a gamble whether they're going to say yes or no. However, it's a gamble, but you can do a well-educated guess.
It shouldn't be a shot in the dark.
A lot of the time, someone's body language will show that they like someone, arguably before they know it. That is like a common thing, that a person might not know that they have these feelings, but their body language will show it. Like, that's not.
Well, like eye contact. Like, I know for certain I get love eyes. Like, not like love, but like eyes. Like, just with certain people, I've said after to you, like, I had love eyes with them. Like I just like, ooh, I just knew it. But so if they don't look at you in a certain way, but then, like, you know, things can change.
I also think it's hard to do that, because when you're looking at scenario, we're like CEO of the companies for this, is that if you're looking at a scenario being like, oh my god, they're so in love with me, whether they are or not, you have to go in with a very level head and be like, no, but for real,
Are they?
were they actually, or have we just spun this narrative?
Yeah, because if you do end up talking to your friend about it, you have to say to them as well, I need you to be realistic.
Yeah.
If someone said to me, does this person like me? I'm not going to be like, yeah, obviously, who wouldn't like you? That is not helpful to society.
Yeah.
To be like, there's nothing wrong with you, so of course they're going to like you, just do it.
Yeah.
No. If you said to, I'm not going to say someone, but if you said to me right now, like, shall I just DM this person, ask them on a date and be like, I've really liked you for a long time, I'm going to put it out there, I would be like, I would rather take your phone away and smash it than see you do that. And I like to think that you would do the same to me, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if I went to you like, yeah, obviously, and he's going to turn around and be like, I've loved you since the first time I saw you, that is setting you up for failure. So if you're going to tell anyone...
You need like a good friend to like tell you how it is. Like, you can have your little giggles and be like, oh my god, did you see the way he was looking at me? But at the end of the day, you need someone who will be like, I think you should tell him if you really want to.
But here's the facts.
Yeah.
You need an earth sign, I think. Like, they're gonna stay grounded and tell you what you need to hear, I think.
Yeah.
I mean that, like, wholeheartedly. Thinking about the span of people I know, I think that'd be a good one.
Signs?
Well, I was about to just start naming people, but like Capricorns, major. That's all.
Oh, just Capricorns.
Well, no, but like
Capricorn. Like, you don't have a Capricorn in your life, you're a goner. What are the other earth signs?
Taurus.
Oh, okay.
Damn.
I thought so, but I just wanted to chat.
Damn.
How many are there?
3. What is the other one, to be fair? I can't remember. Well, so what? Water is Aquarius, Pisces, Cancer. And then fire, Aries. Oh, what's Libra? That's not an earth sign, is it?
It gives earth.
I'm going to have to look that up just 1 second. Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. I don't know any Virgos.
Then what's the 4?
What? Air.
Oh.
Libra is an air sign.
With Gemini
and Aquarius. Wait a damn minute. Were you two thinking that Aquarius? I thought Aquarius and Pisces.
I guess maybe not, because they're like...
Is Aquarius a fire sign?
No, it's an air, isn't it? It's just not to say it's an air.
What are the fire signs?
Just get up the list! Like, why do you keep Googling it? Like, we're forgetting it in between.
Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Alright.
So what's the water signs?
Pisces.
Cancer.
Scorpio.
Really?
Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces.
Oh.
Alright.
Well, that was an unnecessary...
So, get yourself an earth sign, I suppose.
What are you guys talking about? What they were?
Taurus. Yeah. Taurus, Virgo.
Capricorn.
Yeah. Because, like, I think people would say that fire signs would be very to the point, but they might be like, you need that
crazy.
person. Yeah, like, just stop it. Okay. Concluding thoughts. I said, maybe I'm a lover girl. But why not try it? Yeah. It could be a cute wedding story. The level of comfort is there already. They already know you well. But be cautious.
Yeah, I think, follow your heart, but don't be crazy.
It's better to do it than not do it.
Yeah.
Because, like, the longer you wait, you're just prolonging potential pain.
And if they
borrowing
do genuinely
happiness.
care about you as a friend, once the time passes, you will be able to be friends again. If the worst thing you can say is, "Oh, I have feelings for you," and they're like, "Oh, thanks," you'll have some time off where you probably won't see each other a lot. And then if they really care about you, they'll be like, "Hey, I miss you. Like,
Let's go for a coffee.
yeah, let's catch up." And you will get over it, because clearly it's not meant to be if the other person doesn't like you back.
It might just take one of you, like, being with someone else to be fair. You never know. I don't know. It very much is difficult. But until the point of you saying, like, they might sit you down and say, "We're not doing anything," because they really dislike you.
Yeah.
I was going with, like, the fact that you've kind of said it. You don't want to ruin the friendship. Like, I still would lean on the side of taking that, as they might have at least considered it. And if they know that you're also there, then it might open them up slightly. They'd be like, oh, if they're willing to take that big leap, that jump, that risk, maybe I would. I can meet them halfway. I'm not saying I'm going to be in a relationship with you next week, but maybe, like, instead of one of our friend dates, we'll go on a real date and just see.
Yeah, just see if the vibe's there.
Yeah, like, build it up.
Because that's very, like, low impact. Like, you go on this real date, it isn't how you expected it to be.
Then
Go back to fun dates.
Just don't kiss at the end of it. Where, like, if you build it up bit by bit, then you can take away the blocks you've built. But if you're like, okay, I like you, you like me, we're in a relationship now, and then you have to break up. Whereas if you just went on that one date, it can very much be a bit more like, okay, we'll just go back to, like, how we were.
Yeah. Good luck out there.
Facts. Would you like to read the second one?
Yeah, but I've not written it the same way as you.
What did you write?
I just put, my partner made a list of things they don't like about me.
That's what I wrote.
How is it?
And then help.
It's a heart on the exclamation point.
It is a heart on the exclamation point because we're talking about love. Matching. If you can't see what we just did, my cardigan matches her. Notebook. The way I'm seeing it is, like, you've accidentally gone on someone's actually, like, notes page on their phone. You've opened it up. It's titled, like, list of things I dislike about Eliz, or, like, just a red flag. And then the more you read it, you're like, wait a minute, these things might be about me.
Really?
First, what do you see it as?
No, I had options.
You know, just point blank, without getting into the context, could you get over it?
Depends on what the contents are.
Like, I don't know. I'm not sure either. I think...
Then I can't give you an answer.
I don't think I could fully, ever get over it, to be fair.
Well, I wrote about this. Sorry, I have 4 pages for this one, so I feel like I'm going to be flipping around a lot. And we've now, like, flipped my order. But if it's physical appearance based, I don't think I'd be able to come back from that, because that's, like, screams that you don't care about my personality or, like, my character enough to not think about things like that. Like, I'm not saying that you need to have 1,000% physical attraction to someone's appearance. However, I think once you kind of get past that level of, like, initial attraction, I think you shouldn't majorly be thinking about things like that. Like, I wouldn't expect someone who I've been seeing to have a list that's like, I don't like blonde hair. I'd be like, well, I think I'm a bit more than blonde hair at this point.
It's also, like, they're the kind of things that, like, you wouldn't want to change, or if you could, you shouldn't. Like, if I opened a list and it was like, this person was like, no lips. Do you know what I mean? Or, like, hate that eye colour. Do you know what I mean?
Multiple face piercings.
Yeah, I would think I would be a bit like, the only way I can change those things is with, like, filler surgery or removing things from myself. Like, you obviously don't like the way I look. You know, if it was things like a little bit bossy, or, like, not like how she is in the mornings, it's a little bit more like, okay, they are things to work on.
Yeah.
But what am I really going to do about my lips except for fill them. And I shouldn't have to do that for you
Yeah.
because you don't like the way I look. If you didn't like the way I look, you shouldn't have ever been with me.
Yeah, I said that one case in which I wouldn't be super mad, like unforgivable, is that if it was like behavioural or like moral things. So that's kind of like what you were saying, you know, if there was a list and it was like, she's always late or like she's bad at washing up.
Yeah.
Do you know, like things like that, I'd be like, okay, that's fair, because it's unrealistic in like an adult relationship to think that you're not going to have to compromise. And that's kind of things that they would bring to the table and be like, I would like you to be on time for our dates. And I would be like, okay.
Noted.
Like,
I will
that's
make
fine,
an alarm.
because, yeah, I will leave 10 minutes early. Because that's natural, is that you actually aren't going to like every single like behavioural trait of a person, because like that's a lot. Like, you're never going to fit directly in with someone else.
You're not jigsaw pieces.
Yeah. I was kind of also thinking about Carrie and Aiden and how he was like, you need to quit smoking if I'm going to be with you.
Yeah.
Like, where would you fall on that? Because some people are like, that is wrong.
I don't know, you know. Because I'm not a smoker, it's really easy for me to be like, yeah,
To stop.
I would stop. I don't know if but then I would want to be like to someone, you have to stop smoking. But I don't know if I would actually say it, because at the end of the day, like, the smoking did come before me. Like, that, if that is part of you, it's, at the end of the day, it's a habit. It's not something you can just like drop like that. And there's obviously lots of reasons behind it. It's like what we were saying in the last episode about like the whole meat thing. I couldn't wholeheartedly say to someone,
You need to stop.
from the second we begin dating, if you dare eat a burger, I'm gone. Like, it's not as easy morally as that. Even though I would want you to, it's just not as easy as that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But, and then I think Aiden was correct to be, like, not correct, but in his own right.
Did he have a relative? Or have I made that up?
I'm not sure, but, like, there is obviously reasons behind each side of the argument. Because I don't smoke,
He's also like a carpenter. Like, the smell of smoke would stick to the wood.
Yeah.
Like...
So if someone wrote on a list, smokes, about me, I would be a bit, like, I understand the thought process behind it.
Yeah.
I said that I think there is a bit of a distinction between what stage of the relationship you are with your partner. If it's very early days, no one likes to admit it, but, like, we're all kind of making lists in our head and whatnot, like, possible red flags, things that might make us less compatible, dislikes, or I've said, like, handled this situation a little bit aggy, or, you know, we were at a restaurant and they backchatted a waiter. In my head, I'm like, okay, noted. Some people might actually note them down, physically note them.
I was thinking that this is like a really natural thing, and I think it's hard for us to sit here and say, like, that's really mean if they've written a list of things about you, because matter of fact is that you're lying if you say you don't come home from a date and tell your friends, like, yeah, it was really good, but they did this.
Yeah.
They said this word that I don't like. Yeah, and I was also thinking that this person might have done it on a list because they didn't have someone to say it to, or maybe even that they didn't want to tell their friends these things that they didn't like because they didn't want to put you in a position where they are kind of talking badly about you, because they might be saying, oh, she runs late and she binge drinks every Friday night, which I don't like, but they're not going to tell their friends that because they still want a future with you.
It paints you badly.
And they don't want their friends to think that when they first meet you, like, yeah, she does drink a bit heavily.
I said a very similar thing. I said, like, between us girls, we would do it, actually.
Yeah.
It's like blowing off steam in the group chat. And through experience, we actually have. You would be like, they did this thing, red flag. Like, they just would. They showed up this time. They were wearing this. As, like, I can't speak from the male perspective, but the people we know, the girls, we will be very, very specific. You know, they said that they were this height, but I'm thinking it's more this height. Yeah, they were wearing this shirt. I don't know, they didn't look like this picture. They said this on their profile and now they're saying this.
They cancelled our first date.
Yeah, like,
for no real reason.
And it's like, we actually would just say all of those things.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that you don't go and then see that person again after, or you end up seeing them the next week, you do all this. And we kind of, as people, were like, yeah, we did slag them off a little bit. Yeah, we did. But, you know, if you end up being with that person, they were very early days things. It happens. If you turn around the week after and be like, saw him, guys.
I feel like it's normal to not like parts of a person.
Yeah.
As long as it's not like huge. I mean, it goes back to the thing we were saying on like in a previous episode. Obviously not hugely like deal breaker things where they're like hateful and things like that, but I think for the most part it's normal for there to be traits that you're a bit like, oh,
you have to note it to see if it carries on. Like, if they're a little bit flaky to begin with and then they continue that, then you know you don't want to see them. But if they were and then they were very committed, you can kind of write it off and things like that. But we just have a group chat to do those things. However, like you were saying, if the boys don't have the group chat, or that girl doesn't feel like they want to say it to her friends for whatever reason, or they just don't really have a group, or they don't feel it's contributing to life by saying these things out loud, but they're like, just keep it to myself, like no one else really needs to know, or like no one else knows I'm even dating this person, so why should I start slagging them off? I'll keep it to myself, and when I want to introduce them to people I will.
I agree.
And like, if the list just racks up a lengthy amount of things, then it's probably time to get rid of them. And if I saw that, I'll be a bit like, whatever. But if you've been together for years, this is where I do have a problem, because if you've actually been with this person for years and then you suddenly find this list and it's been going on for years, like they have like,
and it almost feels like they're like weighing up whether they should break up with you or not, rather than like, do I want to get with this person?
I said like it gets less excusable the longer it spans, because if it's just like, you can tell you got together in 2018, you're together current day, and you find this list and it's timestamped 2018, you'd be a bit like, that's weird, but like, okay, we are together now, whatever. If you're seeing them timestamped like 2018, 2020, last week, then it's a bit like, why are you still saying these things? It gets a little bit petty and spiteful. And at a certain point, if it goes beyond just dating the person, you're in a relationship, why are you writing these things down? Should you not be communicating them with your partner?
To kind of circle back to how I was saying, like, we're assuming you're finding the list, I think it's also like, do you bring it up to the person? Also, if this person has actually said this to you, you know, always like, I mean, no one wants to think it, but again, like, if you're in a mature relationship, matter of fact is that you'll have to have these communications at some point. So, for example, was it in Dolly's book about the one where someone's partner, their partner had stopped drinking? Do you remember this? And the person writing in felt judged for still drinking and whatever. And I think it's kind of a case of communicating it and being like, you have this thing that I'm really struggling to like handle, you know, if they kind of, and you need to come to that compromise, and you don't want to think about the fact that you have to have these conversations with someone you love. But matter of fact is that if you're living with someone, if you're spending a lot of time with someone, if you're like devoting like time and energy, you actually do need to discuss these things. So
it's those conversations that are going to take you to like a deeper place where it's more trusting, and then when things crop up in the future, it's going to be easier than being like, I hid it last time, now I have to keep hiding these like little things, put it on the list.
It sounds very intense to think like you have to sit down and they're going to get their list out and they're going to be like, wow, like, you don't make the bed when you leave for work. And that really sets me up for the long day, because then when I come home from work, the bedroom's a mess. Do you know what I mean? Things like that. It's not nice to have to think about, but you kind of do. And it's also like, it depends how you communicate these differences and these problems, because if you still leave that conversation feeling hurt, even if you found the list and brought it up, you talk about it and you still leave and you still feel hurt, then clearly that's not a good sign for the relationship, because it should be explainable. And if it's not, then these are like big like personality differences that
Yeah,
I don't
like-
think you can get past.
At what point does it go like, these are the things that I would like to bring up at some point? Yeah, you found it, like whatever.
Yeah.
But you know, now that we're here, let's sit
Yeah.
down and talk about these things. At what point does it become a burn book against the person you're with?
Yeah.
Like, at some point, it might just cross the line a bit too much. I put, like, if I found something that was, like, weird fashion sense, don't like her friends, ugly, that's shocking, because that is a burn bug.
Yeah.
You have compiled this list. I don't see how you can write those things and think that there's, like, good outcomes.
Gosh, imagine if like a boyfriend had a book where they wrote like Eliz is annoying.
Like, say that to my face. Say that with your chest. Yes, and yeah, I am. What about it? I asked the question to myself, like, would it end the relationship? And I said, like, if it's back in the day, you know, it's not been touched, time stamp, whatever. And since, like what you were saying, since these things have actually kind of came up, we have discussed them, maybe not thing for thing, but if you see the list and you're like, to be fair, we did have that conversation around that time, like, we did move past it, or, you know, like, not saying that, you know, you chatted to someone else whilst you were talking, but you know, if like that was like a real turning point in the relationship, whilst like you became exclusive but there was someone else, and on this list was like, I don't know how I can get past it, but a couple months after, you know, in history, your own history timeline, you actually have discussed it.
Yeah.
But that was just from before, so it's a bit like, oh, okay, we have discussed it, it's done, we've drew a line through it. But if it was like last week and we hadn't even spoken about it, it's slightly cowardice, evil, mean.
Cowardice?
Yeah, and unnecessary. To write these things in a list and not say it to
Yeah.
someone, like, you are
Especially
being...
if you're in a relationship, like you have this space where you should feel comfortable to bring it up, and I would like to think that, especially ourselves, I would like to think that we would build a relationship that you could bring things up, so if your partner was to not bring it up.
Yeah, like, I don't think there's the excuse of, like, I didn't want to argue, or, like, I don't feel like I could bring it up to you, because, like, that's already highlighting some real issues in the relationship.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't want to be with someone who can easily write mean things. Like, then, again, there's the difference between, like, constructive things, downright mean. But if it's, like, ugly, unemployed, dirty, broke, I want to be with someone who would have to be, like, squeezed. Yeah, I want to be with someone who'd have to be, like, squeezed and, like, really pressed for thoughts of, like, bad things about me.
Yeah.
Like, if they're like, okay, if we're doing this, I suppose you acted this way. Do you know what I mean? But if they're like, hang on, here's what I prepared earlier. This is actually my list. It's in bold. It's underlined. It's actually priority ordered. I'd be a little bit like, whoa, like you're not my rider, are you? You might actually be an op. Like, I think my biggest hater has been next to me this whole time.
Yeah.
And I also put, like, what, like, it might be praying for your downfall a little bit. If, like, really and truly all you can say is nasty things, don't be with the person, because you don't want to see them succeed. And if you wanted to see them succeed, you tell them about these things in... No, you don't have to come about it particularly polite, but just, like, constructively. You should be like, I have these things, like... and it's I'm seeing it, like, in your personal life and with me.
Yeah.
Here are these things that, like,
I
think
want to see you thrive, so you're gonna have to, like,
yeah, like, we have to
work
work
on
through
them.
this, like, together. Like, I'll go back to the smoking thing, but it's like, I'm seeing you, like, health, wealth, whatever. You didn't get this job because you had to be a certain level. You had to run a mile in a whatever time. You couldn't do it 'cause you're a smoker. Like, I want to see you.
like, you're really unwell.
Yeah, like, I want to see you in a good place. You really wanted that job. You can't be a firefighter. You might be able to be a firefighter and smoke. No clue. But
Probably not.
in this realm, you can't. Yeah.
Because
Like,
you need good lung capacity.
yeah, like, you really wanted to be a firefighter, but, like, you're smoking, babe. Like, I'll help you through it. I've got the Nicky patches. Like, come on, like, we can do this. But if it's like, oh, you actually just found out that I called you, like, Uggo. There's a bit of a difference.
Like, no, you're only ugly in the morning.
Yeah, or, like, maybe if you just got, like, surgery, it would fix
I
it.
just don't like when you wear that much eye makeup.
Like, you're allowed to have a top lip. Like, you really are. You don't have to struggle. But it's like, that's really mean.
Yeah.
I think going forward, for me, I would like, if it is, like, the not nicest of things, like, regardless, I would like the note to be deleted.
Yeah.
discuss the things on it. I don't think it should be like a sweep it under the carpet.
Yeah.
I pretend I do not
But
see.
I think if you squash the things, I think it should just be removed, because why is it still playing a part if we dealt with it?
If it's dealt with, go. If it's not, deal with it, because otherwise it's gonna come up in like uglier ways. If you guys are like, delete it, I don't need to think about it anymore, I saw, just get rid, you're actually still going to be thinking about it. And then if the things pop up, if you go to have a cigarette and then you're like, oh, we didn't talk about it now, I don't know whether I can smoke in front of them and stuff, like, it's a little bit of like a difficult one.
Yeah, you don't want to be keeping secrets just in case.
How would you feel on writing a revenge list? Like, is there any part of you, like, I wrote revenge list, ? Maybe not, but like, would there be any part of you that'd be tempted to be like, I found this list of really nasty things, I'll write one back? Do you think you ever would?
I think it'd be funny, but I don't think it's constructive.
No. In the advice giving of what this is, don't.
But it would be really funny to like write a list and then go to them first and be like, so I've been thinking, your hair, I don't like your hair short. And they're like, no way, I wrote a list saying I don't like your hair blonde. And I'd be like,
but like, you know those like joggers that you wear for like 6 days straight? Wash them, maybe. Like, you can write little things in. It might be very therapeutic if you're both in a place that you can accept those things.
Yeah.
But like, you don't just get to pile it back on them because they wrote something 3 years ago and you discussed it. Do you know what I mean?
Like they put like doesn't wash up the mugs properly after having a coffee. You put like hate the way he walks.
Yeah. They don't want kids, so I'm not sure how far I see this. And then you turned out you had a conversation you're going to like adopt. And then you end up being like, I read like the career, a failure. I never see them going anywhere in life. They're really not going to do anything. Like, then you're a little bit mean. Like, for what?
And it probably came a bit too easily.
Yeah, like, if it's going to get to that stage, cut it off. Or if the things on the list you really just can't see yourself getting past, which is also valid. Like, even if it is old things, like, it can be really hurtful. And one day you will find someone that only has a list of good things to say about you. Not saying that you are perfect or find you completely perfect.
Yeah.
But all they'll be like is, I don't need to make a list of things. Like, I can tell you all the lovely things. If I have something I need to tell you, I'll say it to your face. I won't put it on like.
Yeah.
I won't put it in this notebook.
Winning ideas.
Yeah, I won't put it in the burn book because, like, I don't know, the premeditation in some things.
Yeah.
Like, it's giving bullying. I don't like that. Let's all keep the peace. Treat people with kindness. Yeah. And then, I just said if the content is that deep, you can do better.
Yeah. Yeah, if it's actually like things you can't work on, then there will be people who don't want you to change to be with them because clearly you're not well suited if you have to change to be with someone.
Yeah, because some people might like you in spite of your, like, imperfections, if that's what you want to call them.
Yeah, people might like you even though you do run late.
You might just need to be with someone that also runs late.
Because then you turn up at the place at the same time.
Yeah, but you can't really be with someone, like, punctual because you're never going to, like, work out, are you? And that person that's punctual needs to be with someone that's punctual. Yeah. And I think that's where we might end up.
That's the book today.
But thank you very much for listening.
Thanks, guys. This has been fun.
Let us know what you think on the situations.
Yeah.
Also,
would you do anything differently?
True. Do you disagree with anything we've said? And also opening back up the question from earlier about, like, could you be friends with someone that you once loved?
Yeah.
Or, like, once rejected you and whatnot? Let us know.
If that's, like, sparking interest, because we can do another episode on it.
Obviously, if that hurts your feelings because it happened to you, you don't have to. But if you want to get into any details, that would be really great.
You want to sound like a voice note being like, I once had this scenario.
And send us pictures of the person that you loved. We'll judge. Yeah. We'll write our list. Thank you very much. If you're watching us, subscribe, like, comment. If you're listening to us, follow, rate 5-star, share. Let us know what you're doing.
Follow us on Instagram, blonde_vibrations.
That's where everything is.
We're also having some fun over on TikTok.
We're allowed to say that.
Blonde
vibrations. I'm really enjoying TikTok at the minute. I'm enjoying making them. Yeah, I am.
What else?
I think that's everything.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Love ya.